Hey, yeah. Used to be boxed in, taped up mouth, dreams on mute, heart face out. Now walk in like make that count. Faith in my feet, I break that doubt. Talk to the mirror, you built for this. Scars on my soul turn limitless. Locked in the room with an empty list. Now every you can on my hit or miss. They said sit down, I heard stand tall. They said pipe down, I wrote anthems on the wall. From the floorboards up, I rebuilt it all. If I stumble on the way, still refuse to fall. Shizzy Unchained, Shizzy Unchained. They wanted me quiet, I stepped out the cage. Turn up the rage, turn up the flames. Carve my own lane, now remember the name. Shizzy Unchained, Shizzy Unchained. Voice like a storm breaking out of the rain. Hands in the air if you feeling this change. Shizzy Unchained.
Welcome back, Shizzy Unchained, the show where I cover the sector of crypto and AI, and that sector is Bittensor TAO. I have a great live stream for you guys today. Very excited for this one. When I first got into Bittensor back in February, I was really all over the place, right? I didn't know where to start, right? I was definitely watching a lot of hash rate, and I spent a lot of time on X kind of researching. And when I was on X, I found a lot of really good accounts. One of the accounts I came across was at Bittensor Max, Michael Parker. He's somebody who was, really kind of shaped my understanding of Bittensor and stuff like that. So, and I've been on Telegram with him, but going back and forth, just talking about Bittensor. So I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't you come on the show this week and let's just talk Bittensor. Let's just have fun. I love talking Bittensor TAO. I love everything about this ecosystem and really just trying to help other people understand. And that's what it really comes down to. We had a new update today with Root Reborn and really trying to figure out what's next. What do we do next? How do we take what Root Reborn has given us and really kind of structuring it in a way of making us successful? Right, because that's the number one thing I want Shizzy Unchained show to do. I'm trying to get the guys watching, the degens, right? Because we when we hear the word degen in crypto, we're like, hell yeah, I'm a degen, because degens are the ones who make millions of dollars. Degens are the ones who are able to get in something at $1.2 million market cap and ride that to 100 million, right? We're not here for 3-4x's. A lot of us are here for those 50, 60, 100x's. Hey, even 1,000x's. It's possible. And I truly believe that it's going to happen in the subnets. I think that we are on the ground floor of something seriously special with Bittensor and the subnets. I don't think there's anything else out there in crypto that even interests me a little bit. Not at all. I mean, when you're talking about Robinhood and meme coins and Ansem, the bull, and all that stuff, I look at that as old, right? I'm not interested in Robinhood meme coins or any type of meme coin. I feel like that was last cycle. I feel like that's something that we should, kind of see and be like, yeah, that's gambling. I played that game before, and I want to be someone who's an investor now. I want to find companies, and that's the beautiful part about Bittensor is the subnets are actual companies, and really ride those companies to success. And you're betting on them, right? It's a little bit of a gamble, but it's not as much as something that has no value like a meme coin. These things actually have value. They have revenue. Subnets have revenue. They're actual businesses building cool stuff. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to get into a lot of different topics. We might even play some bullish or bearish. It's up to Michael, but we will see. But without further ado, let's bring up Michael Parker. Michael, welcome to Shizzy Unchained.
Shizzy, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Thanks for having me on the show today. Always good to go back and forth with you and the many channels that we do it.
Yeah, man, for sure. Let's kind of dig into your background a little bit, if you don't mind. Like, who is Michael Parker, man, and how'd you get into Bittensor?
Yeah, exactly. Well, interestingly, I have 25 years in real estate development investment background. I ran a pretty large appraisal firm in Southern California. So I think the major part of my history was always identifying value gaps, right? Finding something that had value and something that was kind of sandwiched between what was coming and what is there now. So I have never been a big crypto guy, actually, not until Bittensor. I kind of followed the Bitcoin and Ethereum wave a little bit, but Bittensor was my first real lock in there. I said, oh, wow, this is, the divergence of AI, crypto, blockchain, everything kind of happening all at once. And I saw the value in each little microcosm of each business that could be built here. And I said, there's something here. So that's what brought me here.
So with Bittensor being your first, was it your first blockchain? Did you have a decentralized wallet prior?
Yeah, there were a little bit. I was like, oh, maybe I'll accumulate some Bitcoin, maybe I'll accumulate some Ethereum. So I started playing around with that. I did get comfortable with wallets and the whole process, right? Coming from investing in traditional assets before that, it was a change for me. And I know you teach a lot about that, so that's a great resource, because it took me a while just to figure out, hey, this is new. How do I do this? So yeah, it was a learning curve.
I have people reach out to me all the time that they're level 1 crypto users. I call a level 1 crypto user somebody who just buys and sells on Coinbase. You buy your Ethereum on Coinbase, right? And I definitely respect level 1 people, because those are the guys who are just they're trying really hard to understand this, because this is not easy. When you take the step to level 2, meaning a level 2 crypto user is somebody with a decentralized wallet with an extension or an app on your phone where you actually for the first time send your crypto from Coinbase to your wallet, and you have to write down your words. That's a huge step. What was that like? What was that like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, because I didn't see your show then. I didn't have any resources like that. I was like, okay, I think I was Googling it, or maybe I was using AI at the time. Okay, what happens next? Okay, this is really going to go here. Okay, and then you wait. You're like, wait, did I do something wrong? It's not there. And of course, some of the chains take longer. So 20 minutes later, you're like, oh, there it is. Okay, it worked out. It was a process. It was a process.
I remember when I first got in, I bought Bitcoin. I was a Bitcoin maxi when I first got. I got in like August 2020, right? That's when I bought my first Bitcoin at $8,000. I bought a whole one. I took out a loan at my 401k and bought my first Bitcoin at 8K. And then there was something at the time called Blockify. And it was like you earn yield on your Bitcoin, and I didn't understand, not your keys, not your crypto, any of that. So I took my Bitcoin, and my first transfer was Coinbase to Blockify. And I remember it not getting, because you have to remember, Coinbase has to send it first. You put the order in, they have to send it, and then the Bitcoin blockchain could take 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour sometimes. And then Blockify has to receive it, and then they have to put it on. It was like almost 2 hours where that Bitcoin, and I'm like, did I just lose $8,000? Like, I'm freaking out, man. I'm just like, and I just went for a walk, and I came back, and it was in Blockify. I eventually moved it out before everything happened to crash. But I remember that experience of being that first level 2 crypto user and being like, oh my God, this stuff is so hard.
Yeah. And now you're like, whatever.
Yeah, now it's like,
oh, I sent that, and then maybe an hour later, you're like, oh, maybe I should check and make sure that showed up.
Well, now I can just go to the Block Explorer, right? And just be like,
exactly.
Okay, it's in the mempool, or or it's coming. I got nothing to worry about. Back then, I didn't know what a mempool was. I didn't know, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely respect the level 1 crypto users. But let's get back into TAO. What you said Bittensor was kind of like your first big movement. Could you kind of explain to the audience, maybe someone who's newer, why Bittensor actually matters to you?
Yeah, so the decentralization I think is really important in AI. I'll have to say I am a bit of a anti-establishmentist, I guess, in a way. So not that I don't love certain centralized companies, but when it comes to privacy, information, AI, things like that, there's a difference there. So, and I think, not to bash the central models, they have their uses. We all use them still, all of us, even in Bittensor, use them. But we don't want that to be purely in their hands, right? So that's just one facet of interest. We don't want centralized power to control everything in AI. We want the privacy. We want the ability to have our own. That's one facet. That I think the more leading thing that drew me into it, though, is the actual design of the network, the whole sort of economy of economies, each spinning out fractal of businesses that can be built on it and inside of it, and how they can be built inside the chain and mined rewarded. And that whole sort of permissionless global network of miners, builders, and business owners, it's like an entrepreneur's dream, right? To show up here. So those things together just said, hey, this is different than anything out there, different than any other chain. I looked at other things. I said, yeah, there's some cool AI chains out there. There's Near and, other things, but it's just one thing, right? It's just one thing, one chain doing one thing. But here, kind of the possibilities are unlimited. So that's what drew me to it. It's just unlimited asymmetric opportunities from every angle you look. And the further you go in, the more you see it.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing that we cannot allow happen, we cannot allow the monopolies to win, right? Like, we can't let OpenAI and Anthropic be the end all be all of AI. It just can't, and that's why people say all these Chinese models. I hate that, because they're open source models.
Right.
Like, yeah, I didn't realize China was so big on giving people freedom all of a sudden, and we're sitting, you know what I mean? And we're sitting here and we're like, no, we need closed source models where we need our government to control what we can do with AI, while China is kind of sitting there being like, we can't compete with Anthropic and OpenAI, so we're just gonna let everyone kind of help us build our models.
Yeah, exactly. That is, and they've attached that Chinese models to open source models. Really, I think that's just part of that, more of that regulatory capture, fear mongering. That's just let's label it. Let's throw this on there and scare everybody, and then yet let's take away the freedom at the same time. Just it's not adding up.
Yeah, could you imagine if you went to your AI and typed in and it gave you a political view that you didn't want? You know what I mean? Or because potentially it's like going to Google and getting bad answers. It's kind of like that same thing. We can't allow that to happen. Like, I want to, if you're using Anthropic and OpenAI, maybe go to a Kimi 3 and just kind of see the differences between the answers that it's giving you, and kind of choose those models. Because I'm somebody, I use Codex every day, right? I love Codex. I love being able to set 10 steps and come back a few hours later and it just goes. And someone said you can use Hermes and Kimi 3 and stuff. So I am kind of experimenting a little bit at that same time. But open source isn't something that is easy to use. But then you have these subnets that are actually doing that for you. These subnets are giving you front ends to this amazing open source technology.
Absolutely.
All right, let's kind of get into, I like to usually start off every show with a quick, Bittensor TAO, because, at the end of the day, we're all depending on the TAO token to go up. In order for us to strive at a magnitude that I think we're all thinking Bittensor is capable of subnets are capable of, we need the TAO token to kind of show that for us. So let's kind of jump into this. Let me just all right. So right now we've been in this downward trend now since November 2024, and it's just been down only. I'm pretty sure you said you were somebody who bought up here, you bought down here, I think. Yeah. So what's your opinion on this chart here?
Yeah. Yeah, I've bought it every place. I've been all over there, and not because I thought it was the best time, or I was early or I was late, but just because my mindset is accumulate TAO, right? Yeah. Accumulate TAO, because every time I have more TAO, I can put it in these subnets. I can find more asymmetric plays. I can find more compounding and stake it. Exactly. So I'm looking at it in terms of TAO. But yes, this falling wedge, we've been headed here. It looks just like the biggest spring that's just coiling up. Any of us who've been in here a while, you see the repeating pattern. Boom, we're back up to 350, overnight. It's just so quick. It's the most volatile chart, I think, in all of crypto. It is very volatile, and each subnet is as volatile. But I think we're definitely, I don't like to talk charts too often, but it definitely feels like we're ready for that next massive jump back up.
Yeah, 100%. And something I keep saying on my market updates, I don't think it's going to be something like this. I don't think we're going to see something like that. I think we're going to see a full-on upward momentum explosion. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for even thinking that's possible?
That's how I see it. I mean, if you look at it and you want to read the tea leaves of the charts and and look at repeating patterns that, you know, a lot of people love to do. It's obvious, right? That's pretty obvious. It's always been a violently re-rating chart every time. And, you know, sometimes it's narrative. Maybe it's something like what's happening with ENGY, or something building and mining from real corpuses of things that are coming from the real world.
What subnets would you describe that are doing that?
A handful, I think, Minos extracting real information out of the world. And I think those combined together could be the other force besides crossing the chasm of one.
Yeah, 100%. Like lead poet, like you mentioned, Gavin is somebody who is out there every single day. And he's just grinding. I definitely
to build something that is real, and instead of just say, hey, we're building what we want, and if you like it or don't, you know, sign up. So I think that matters too.
100%. Let's kind of talk about the higher market cap ones. We got, like I said, Chutes, Lium over 70 million. First time I've actually seen that. Lium has been really strong. Targon over 65 million, Affine at 44 million. We're sitting here looking at, you know, these subnets in the top 10, and they're all below $100 million. I mean, for context, I think Ansem the Bull meme coin is like 140 or like something crazy, $140 million, something wild like that. And we're sitting here looking at stuff like Chutes with revenue, Lium with revenue, Targon with revenue, Score with revenue, and we're sitting below 100 million. Like, this is something, this is like a huge opportunity here. It's crazy.
It is. It is. The asymmetric upside of each of these is still insane. I mean, if you feel like, if you're not in Bittensor now and you're looking to get in, and you think, oh, I'm late. No. Even these leading subnets are so astronomically undervalued. Each one of these could be, you know, $1 billion market cap alone. Like, you're comparing against some of these other coins that are doing one thing or not much at all. And each one of these are doing many things. And I think it's just it's a distribution issue. It's a understanding issue. And we're finally seeing some of that open up, you know, with everything going to Kraken. We're going to get these sort of isolated tokens that people don't necessarily need to know about. It's not always clear, you know, and I think that's generally the difference. I think that's the change.
Yeah. So validators now become asset managers in a way for root stakers. So when you stake, because if you go over to something like, let me grab TAO stats, go to TAO stats, and then you go to TAO market cap, I should have had this up, TAO stats, and then go over to, I think it's validators. These are all the validators, right? We have Yuma, TAO stats, Arbus, Kraken, Crucible Lab. Like, these are all validators, and each validator now is going to be managing subnets. They're going to be actually holding subnet tokens for the root stakers. And when you're a root staker, you get, when you decide to sell, potentially they're going to be cashing out some of the subnet tokens to give you your TAO. But you might see 15% yield on just TAO now, because of you're able to hold the subnet tokens, and the subnet tokens are staked. Some of them give 30% yield, like Chutes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is going to be interesting to see how that works for staking in root like that, and how the changes. I'm wondering if there's going to be changes on like TAO.com wallet, where they, you know, they've made it very clear like how it's like trading on Kraken in there. They've simplified the process. But I remember when it first started using their wallet, it was like pick your validator, and pick your subnets. It was more complicated. So I'm kind of wondering how that will work and how that will play out, and what kind of yields we'll get on root.
When you're staking your TAO into a subnet, which validator do you personally use? Do you like nickel and dime the couple percentage points, or do you kind of like just choose your favorite?
I just kind of choose the path of least resistance. I'm not trying to look at that. I think I'm more interested in where I'm putting it, which subnet I'm going into.
So I'm kind of the same way, right? Like, if I come here, it's the beautiful part of TAO stats. You can come to TAO stats, you can just pick, like, I say Targon, and then you can see the APY, right, for each of these, the month over month, stuff like that for each. So if you would Targon and you stick it in Talbot, you're potentially getting 35%, but if you stick it in something like I don't know, General Tensor, you're getting 28%. But I think you're potentially, when you go to Root now, 7%, 8%. I think this time next week we're probably going to see 15% and 16% in here because of the subnets these guys are accumulating.
Right.
So should be cool.
I that's what I hope.
So, but that's going to do is that's going to open up a lot of level 1 TAO holders who want to just buy TAO and stake it because they're getting the yield. And if you're getting 15% on a chain token,
yeah,
like that's pretty crazy. And it's not diluting that chain token like on Polkadot or something. You know, it's being like so much emissions. That's why Polkadot's been just down only since it really had that first run up, is because there's so much. You're getting like 25% yield on it, but the yield's being given to you by the Polkadot token. In this sense, you're getting the subnet tokens.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So
and you're getting something that is building a revenue. You know, many of them are, at least the top ones. So yeah, I think, and then their buybacks and burns. And so yeah, I think it's a totally different animal. Right. You're right.
Yep. And then you have someone like Lamita came out and they said for Root Reborn, Lamita Validator is setting up a basket on the following tiers. Tier 1, revenue. So if your subnet has revenue, so Chutes, Targon, Lium, you're in tier 1. If your subnet is just a product, right? Let's just say, I think for right now, I think, Zipcode's just a product. Ditto right now is just a product. I don't think they have revenue yet. You'd be in like tier 2. And then if you have a team, I didn't understand this one, tier 3 team. If you just have a team of people, you're in tier 3.
I would assume that means they're actively building and proving something. Okay. I'm going to run with that. But
maybe your GitHub is being updated.
Yeah,
right. Stuff like that. Yeah. And then tier 4 is unknown subnets. These are some of my favorite subnets because you never know who's running them. And then out of nowhere, you could have these people come out and saying, hey, we actually have subnet unknown, and then you just skyrocket out there. So it's always nice to take a little bets on unknown subnets, just throwing like one TAO in there, because you just don't know. You just don't know who could come out next week and say they actually own that. So
yeah, exactly.
But this next one, tier 5, is the fun ones. So I guess Quasar would be a tier 5.
Right. Definitely. Right. And then, we were talking strategy earlier, and you're telling me about these plays, which I think I found fascinating. Like, that's fascinating that you're diving in there. And I think there's a lot of people coming in that may be like, well, let me wait and see. But I think you're right. If you take a bag and you're holding it in Root or in your validator, and then you're putting some of these sort of unknown, highly asymmetric plays, you can make some massive gains. And then, hey, they turn out to be a valid team. They're going to keep climbing from there. So, yeah. What do you? I know you use a lot of tools to track daily and kind of figure out what's happening with these. But what's your main go-to for locking down on finding the entry points on those?
Yeah, so honestly, I created the site ShizzyUnchained.com for me, right? Because I'm able to. So number one thing that I like to do when I'm researching a subnet is I like to immediately find the website, and that was a big problem. I didn't know the websites, but now I actually went to a render, and I have running my own node now, my own Bittensor node. So I'm getting the data directly from the Bittensor blockchain. So all my data on my site here comes right. So let's just say Nova, you go to their website, and it actually takes you to Nova. Like, so for me, I'm really kind of digging into the websites of these builders and stuff like that. So if to say like GM, I didn't know what GM was, and I just go to their website, and you really start being able to figure it out.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's an excellent tool.
So,
yeah, and like, the bubbles on there too. You like to and see.
That's the thing too. So on the daily, and no one had like a 10-minute bubble. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm somebody who, so I have a long-term portfolio. I have a swing trading portfolio. And then I have my mobile portfolio, which is, I have about 20 to 30 TAO in like 2 or 3 different wallets, and I kind of just day trade, right? Like, and my whole goal every single day is if I have 31 TAO on mobile, to have 32 by the end of the day. Like, it's strictly day trading. Like, it's always back. Like, when I go to sleep, it's back in TAO. When I wake up, I try to pick where can my 30 TAO. I just need 3% to get a TAO, right? So that's all I got to do is make 3% each day, and it doesn't always go that way. But so I'll sit here and I'll like to kind of dig into what these guys are building, and I come down here and I'm able to see the market cap and the last 10 minutes and stuff like that. So for me in my day trading portfolio, it's the bubbles and stuff like that. And then when I'm just trying to really kind of dig in, I really like just going to the websites of these products. I'm just really just trying to understand. I'm always copying it and throwing it into my AI agent and saying, hey, is there anything in here that maybe I don't know about? This is what I know about the subnet, and I'll speak it into. This is what I know about the subnet, and then is there anything I missed? And it'll scan through, and it'll be like, did you see this part? I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I had no idea that Hippius was doing that.
Yeah, that's great. Love that. Love that.
AI is a big part of my everyday life, just like I'm pretty sure it is yours. So I use my AI agent as a personal assistant. Like, it's always there for me when I need it.
Exactly. And I use so many different ones, and I'm like, well, I'm going to ask Grok about this one because I like the way that he finds this, or everything's got a different answer, a different method of extracting what I want out of it. I have a claw doing research things for me and stuff in the background, and then I have I use many different Bittensor Subnets tools, Chutes, to do serious things, but just chattering through the day, I bounce between different models.
Yeah, for sure. And when you mentioned Grok, I use my favorite tool, Grok. I go to Grok and say, hey, scrape X for me and find me all the subnet news from the last 24 hours. And then Grok will, Grok is the best at, because Grok is X, right? Grok is SpaceX. Grok is so it really just digs in, and I'm able to find. And the cool thing is too, it'll bring me up tweets from like you. It'll bring me up tweets from Michael White. It'll bring me up tweets from people that are just talking Bittensor. It doesn't even have to be legit news, but a lot of the times too, I get better information from people doing research like yourself, like Michael White, like Mark Jeffrey and stuff like that, rather than just the subnet owners spitting out news. And that's the beautiful part about X is, a lot of the times when I made the most TAO on my investment was just seeing a few people talk about the subnet and then being like, oh, that's interesting, and then actually doing the research for myself.
And I think you're actually aligning with a Bittensor phenomenon that is not only the network and how subnets are really working together now. We're like seeing many more of these composable plays of people cooperating and building together. And hey, this subnet does this. We need their tool. Let's put them together. But we're doing that as people in the space. It's a human network, really. It's AI, but it's a human network. We're communicating because of it, and we're all connected because of it. And I think that's probably one of the more fascinating things, because there is so much information. It is a very heavy, data intensive crypto and network that we kind of got to stick together and find out what's going on and stay on top of it. Yeah, absolutely. I did the same thing. Like, Grok gives me that morning. I do that automated thing. I'm like, find me. I have like 4 or 5 different things that tells me every morning and what I want to know. So I love that. And I love that you can pull it from X. So.
100%. And then, speaking of being like connected, the beautiful part about Bittensor subnets is they're all kind of working together. Like a lot of subnets use Targon, a lot of subnets use Lium, a lot of subnets use Chutes, right? Which is awesome. You like when I'm going through these websites of these subnets, you go to the bottom on something like Lead Poet, for instance. The entire bottom is the subnets that they're using to do what they're doing. So it's like it's not just us just kind of just like oh, these subnets are awesome. It's the subnets that are using each other to gain in an open, because everything's open source.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm good friends with Special K Koyuki from Vosense, and they just recently integrated their BabbleBit. So now not only does she have this beautiful voice AI competing with 11 Labs, but boom, instantly now in every language because of Babelbit. Like, it's just these plays is compounding. It's compounding the network together quicker. And I think we've all been waiting for that moment, and that's what's happening. And I think that's what I'm talking about, where it might not just be one that crosses the chasm. It might be this networked effect of everybody coming together, and just all of a sudden it's the rising tide of all of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know they were using Babelbit. That's so smart for them to use that what Babelbit's building. So that's really cool. But yeah, VoSense is definitely, I had Special K on the show a few months, like 2 months back. That was really awesome to see. So really cool that she's building there. So, but yeah, you want to play a little game? My favorite game, actually.
All right.
It's called Bullish or Bearish. So I'm gonna throw a subnet at you. I'm gonna tell you what they do. You just say bullish or bearish, and feel free, because I don't, I have a lot of people on the show, don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but feel free to say I'm neutral on this one, right? So I'm not forcing you. That's one thing. I had Mark Jeffrey on the show. He's like, dude, I can't like do this. Like, I'm friends with these people. Like, you know what I mean? So,
you represent a fund, so I can shoot my mouth a little more.
For sure. All right, so we'll go Ditto. Ditto is the memory and infrastructure layer that helps AI agents remember, improve, and operate continuously. Bullish or bearish, Ditto?
A bullish. Yeah, bullish for sure. I see they're growing membership. That's great. I think it's going to all of a sudden just kind of pick up. I think we're still on the forefront of people using these agents and sort of keeping track of everything. So I think as that becomes more commonplace, and they're an app now. They're on both iOS and the Google Play Store. So I think that it's just going to kind of roll. I see a lot of future in it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I see a lot of opportunity in Ditto as well. I think they're still kind of down from the incident that happened last month, where it was an escrow deal for $1 million, and the escrow actually got scammed. It wasn't Ditto, it wasn't Sebi, it was the actual escrow that the third party that they were using as the ones who got scammed by a fake video of Sebi. So I think that's the only reason why Ditto is under $2 right now, is mainly because of that situation, and the team doesn't really hold that many Ditto tokens anymore. They are locking up what they are locking up, but I feel like that was a big downward spiral that they're still getting smacked with. But I do think they're eventually going to spring out of there, and when they do, I think it's going to be awesome, because I love Peyton, I love Omar. When I hear these guys talk, you can just hear the passion, and that's one thing I listen for when I'm listening to founders. And I think it was Peyton's first interview. He was Shizzy Unchained's this platform's first interview as well. It was like something, he was just in my Telegram group, and I was like, yeah, you want to come on with me? Because Ditto just came out, and he hopped on with me and he explained it to me, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. And now they're, I think this one is going to be the ones that we could really see a lot of success. And you got to remember, when Kantz got on a phone with Peyton way back when they first dropped, he invested in it. He invested in the subnet right away, right off one call with Peyton. So that tells you something as well.
Yeah. The other thing I love about it, it's very like retail friendly feeling.
Yes.
It feels very mainstream. So, and that's been one problem we've had. Like, we have these geniuses building these things, but like, if my grandma can't understand it, then, that type of thing. Like, and Ditto is feeling more like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just easy to use, right? It's everything you want. It's like, it's when you go to it, it's very similar to everything else, like ChatGPT, Claude, and everything else. So, and it tells you like what's new. You can hit the X, and then you can just sit here and you can just whatever you want, right? Right in there. It's very similar to everything you already use when it comes to AI.
It's also one of the more accessible ones. So go ahead. I mean, if you don't have it out there, download Ditto on your phone today, because it's boom, instant, and then like you start playing with it, and then if you want to go premium from there, do it. But it's just super easy to use.
Yeah, so I guess we're both agreed that we're both bullish on Ditto there. So, all right, Chutes. This is an easy one, right? Decentralized serverless compute layer that lets developers deploy, scale, and open source AI models without managing infrastructure. Chutes is the leader in subnets, sitting around just below $90 million. It is the one that is one of the ones that are on Kraken right now, and it's probably going to be one of the ones that get listed on Coinbase when that does happen. So, Chutes, bullish or bearish?
Bullish, yeah. Long term, blue cap, Bittensor Subnet, you know, just they're not going anywhere. Strong team, strong everything, and it's only up. It's only a stronger base for them from here. Yeah.
100%. So easy layup here. And what I did was I told my AI this morning to randomize these. So this is just I didn't bring these up. These are just randomized. So that's why it's just it's going to be pretty easy in the beginning, but it definitely gets hard. So all right, Targon SN4, bullish or bearish. The secure AI infrastructure layer gives developers access to decentralized models, compute through API. Everyone's calling this decentralized compute. The few that's actually giving it to you decentralized.
Definitely bullish. I think they're a little harder to understand for mainstream, but what they're doing, but they're building great things in the background. Yeah, great team, big future, targeting the right things for sure. Yeah, bullish.
Yeah, easy one. There's a layup. I'm bullish on them as well. All right, this next one's a little bit controversial because when you listen to someone like Mark Jeffrey, he's very bullish on what they're building for actual. But if you go to someone like TAO Templar, in every single video, he says red flag, red flag, red flag. They have no tokens locked up. There's nothing on the GitHub. But he's very. Are you a fan of TAO Templar? Do you watch
Yeah,
him?
I check out some of his stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then he's building his site, which is TAO Flu, and he's super bearish on actual.
Yeah,
okay. You got guys like Mark Jeffrey who are super bullish on it.
I love how TAO Templar. What does he have that? Like basically, tell us who you are, what you're doing, or you're going to get the beat down, right?
Yeah.
So, actual, I barely understand it. I understand that it's like distributed and pretty much you're going to be able to use your N64 from 1995 to run a base model. You know, it's pretty crazy, the philosophy and what they're doing. And what proof do they have yet? I don't know. And so I haven't dug in deep enough. So I'm going to say neutral only because I don't know. I think I'm bullish on the technology and the idea, and just neutral on where they're headed because I don't know enough about the team or, hopefully they come out and chat more. I'd love to see more posts on X, maybe get them on the show. Like, let's dig into these things.
Yeah, 100%. And like I've reached out to Tom. I got no response. I would love to get Tom on the show. But it's the decentralized inference layer that turns everyday computers into mixed hardware into usable AI ladder. Like you said, potentially he wants to take my PlayStation right here and put it online and have me mine for compute, right? Or take my little HP NVIDIA computer laptop here and potentially let me mine for compute. But like I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if this is a pipe dream or if this is real. And there's nothing to tell me that it is possible, but there's nothing to tell me that is not. So I'm guessing I'm right there with you. I wanted to say bearish on this a little bit, but I think you're right. I think it's best to stay neutral on actual.
Yeah, I think until there's more revelation. Yeah,
100%.
I'm not diving in there. That's what I'm saying.
I have a small bag. I have a small bag actual, just in case. Just in case.
All right. Maybe I should get a small bag.
and we got ENGY SN53. This has been one that has actually just been on a tear. It's in a little bit of a pullback right now. It's actually battled back since the last time I seen it. So this is it right here. But if you go here to the 1 day, it's just been it's just up only. Right?
Yeah,
so it's something crazy. So what is ENGY doing? ENGY is verified AI inference layer that runs frontier open source models on consumer GPUs. There's rumors that they found a really cheap energy source, whether that's volcano mining or Chinese. I don't know where it's coming from. But they found a really cheap place to get inference, and they're giving it to users and they're allowing you to use Kimi right now using their inference, and apparently it's 90% cheaper than using AI or Anthropic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say bullish for several reasons. One, the team is excellent. I mean, and everybody behind it. I like to not focus on subnets that are trying to copy what centralized models are doing. Like there's already, bigger models, faster models, longer context models, why compete with that? And it might be a confusion what ENGY's doing, but like, it's really comes down to the energy, right? Which comes down to the cost, and that's their edge. And I think that we automatically capture that in a decentralized scenario. But then whatever energy source that's undisclosed right now is the one driving that. That's absolutely fascinating. And yeah, I'm bullish on it. I think it's we're already maybe like a 4 or 5x from where we were like when it kind of was just heating up. I still think it's, you know, I think it can still climb to the top 10. I mean, where are we at now? It's what are we, like 15?
Top 8. It's like 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay. I'm already behind that. I'm already behind the time. But I still think I still think it's got room to run. I think yeah, this could be one of those cross the chasm breakout. Like, it's just communicative. Everybody on there, massive leadership, massive partnerships. You know, I think a lot of people are very bullish on it. So I'm gonna say bullish for sure.
Yeah, I think it just takes one partnership, and this thing could be number one. I think if they come out and say, hey, you know, because at the end of the day, their biggest competition is Chutes, right? Chutes is doing exactly what they're doing, but Chutes is a little bit more expensive when it comes to inference. Yeah. If ENGY found a cheaper way to do what Chutes is doing, shouldn't ENGY be ahead of Chutes? Shouldn't ENGY be number one technically? Yeah. And I think the way the chart's looking, people are agreeing that ENGY could be. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we're sitting here in September and ENGY is number 2 or number 3.
I agree. And I think, you know, I haven't been on the platform lately to interact with the ENGY, but if they get that sort of retail UI situation that it's just easy to use, boom, like like, yeah, you know, just open the floodgates.
And again, when you go to their website, Kimmy 3 is now live on ENGY. Kimmy 3 is you can't sign up for a Kimmy 3 account anymore because they don't have enough inference, but you can use something through here and potentially input $1.50, output $7.50, cash 0.15. I don't know what any of that means, but per 1 million tokens. But I don't know if that's cheap or expensive. But right. They're doing something good here.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it is. And you know, I know, again, Mark Jeffrey, I think, did some chart the other day, and he was trying to show the differences between the cost models and it, you know, proving that point. But I get lost in those numbers too. I'm like, oh, okay, it sounds great. It sounds cheaper. I think it is. All right. Let's go. Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, you know, I'm just let the smart guys do their thing, and I just want to be invested in the ones that are going to do the best, right? I'm listening to the smarter people. I'm doing my research to the best of my abilities, and hey, I have an AI agent to tell me if I'm right or wrong, right? Yeah. I have an assistant that is one of the smartest brains in the world, telling me that hey, take a look at this. Take a look at this a little further. And I'm like, all right, let me dig in a little further. So, yeah. All right. Next one here, Lium SN51. We know this is one of the few subnets that the founder is not doxed. We do know him as Fish. We do know that he has a good relationship with Mog, who is doxed, right? Mog is TAO Stats. He is GM. He is with Block Machine. He has a ton of subnets. Fish is somebody who apparently Const knows who he is as well. So he is doxed to the more important people in Bittensor. But he is somebody who is just doing everything the right way. He's just massive burns. So what Lium is you basically decentralized GPU marketplace, lets people rent verified computing power for AI. So you can actually put your computer up and someone from a different part of the world could actually use your GPU and do whatever they want with it, right? Whether it's mining or something, you're getting your computer rented from you, or you're renting computer depending on what you're trying to do with it. And they have revenue and lots of it, enough to where they are burning a ton of this token.
Yeah, and that, I know we've gotten in and out of narratives on compute, you know, and the reality of it is that behind the scenes, people are renting these things nonstop. Like, you know, it may not be us on a daily basis, but institutions, organizations, other builders, developers inside of blockchains and just even Web 2 type stuff, they're using this stuff. And yeah, anything tied to Mog, even if it's just, hey, it's their buddy, like, yeah, obviously bullish. So you know, these are the kind of the core builders underneath everything. If it's, yeah, absolutely, I'm bullish on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I expect Mog, if Fish was doing something for whatever reason why he's not doxed, I feel like, you know, you would have Const or somebody coming out and saying, hey, like, you know,
Yeah.
be careful with this one. But he's doing everything. Again, when we talked about Tal Flute earlier, right, from
Yeah.
Tal Templar, this is his number one. This one checks all the boxes for him.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's good to know, because he definitely is the bloodhound on a lot of things. So
yeah, for sure, for sure. Recall SN31, Bullish Bearish, the decentralized AI retrieval layer that finds the best information pipeline, give models more accurate context answers. This is one of the ones that I haven't really done a ton of research on, so I'm definitely going to sit here and say neutral.
yeah,
What do you think?
same. I know almost nothing about them.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're newer?
Yeah, they're one of the ones that keep coming up when I'm looking into compute. I got to take a deeper dive on this. Like I said, this was very random, that the order that you guys are in. But yeah, I'll say neutral on that one. Need to do more research. And then Score, SN44. So there is one issue with Score, and that's this big flock camera thing that's happening out in the West Coast in San Francisco. Apparently, there's these things called flock cameras, and they're in the sky, and normal people are going around posting TikTok videos of how to cut them down and destroy them. Right, so it's one of those things where retail doesn't like these cameras. They just don't. And Score is actually building that, but Score is doing different things, right? They're more of a business to business product where businesses kind of use it for their different, and it just allows you to, if there's a fire, the camera can detect it. If you if you're at a gas station, it can see a leak and just stuff like that. So the only thing that I see is this flock camera, because it's been blowing up on TikTok, people cutting these things down. And Score is a decentralized computer vision layer that analyzes scorer footage to track players. It does a sporting thing, but it actually does a lot more. It's in malls and gas stations and different places as well.
Yeah, I'm very bullish on them. Regardless of the resistance of the people, it is feel like the 1984, but it's been like that, right? We've had cameras, and more cameras are going everywhere. But I think Score is, what they're doing essentially is mining the information that's being seen, right? And they're doing what, like safety of fires, with a swarm to do the drone stuff and track that. So yeah, they're tapping into maybe some of those products that may be governmental and questionable, but that's good. That's good for Score then, because that's not going anywhere. And they're going to cut down these cameras and they're just going to put them right back up. But yeah, I think they have a potential to tap into tons of things. Everything from mom and pop donut store to say like, hey, what's going on with my store right now? Just feed them information on an autonomous loop to here's what's going on in your parking lot. They have unlimited possibilities, and I don't really see anybody doing anything like them. They have the PricewaterhouseCoopers deal, so the distribution's there. A lot standing behind them. Very bullish on Score. Yeah,
100%. And the big thing that got me when I was looking into research and Score was their fire detector. So let's just say you have it. Smoke detectors could take maybe 30 minutes into the fire to eventually be able to sniff it out and then go off, right? And then alarms the police. But with Score, it uses like infrared technology to where it's scanning the entire area, and potentially it could see smoke way before a smoke detector actually smells it, or whatever the smoke detector does. Like it alarms the smoke detector. So potentially, if you're Walmart, you definitely potentially want to make sure that your freezer doesn't have an electrical fire, and if it does, you want to be alerted right away, not 30 minutes after it's already been on fire.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, you got scenarios like that. You got emergency road crash, instant.
Yeah. I didn't think about that either. It could detect and immediately alert firefighters or police or whatever to get to the scene, ambulance and stuff like that. Yeah, that's actually, I didn't think about that either. So yeah,
there's that delay of somebody saying, hey, I think I saw an accident, should I call 911? No, the camera already did, boom. So yeah, there's the privacy factor, but we can't fight that anyway. So yeah, I think 100%. They're doing good things.
All right, it's AI. This is one that I use. I have an account with them. I use this a lot. And mainly I use it for myself when I'm writing something, right? I use a lot of AI. and I don't want it to be AI slop. So I'll do one of my Shizzy deep dives here, and I'll run it through the AI detection. And as long as it's like above, below like 30% AI, I'm okay with posting it, because I don't want to be someone who puts out AI slop. Like I don't want to be known as all his articles AI. So I run them through the AI detector, decentralized AI detection layer that identifies whether text was written by a human or generated by AI. Right. And then some of these posts I grab from X and I'll throw it in here, and it'll be like 100%. Like, this is complete AI slop. Right. I'm like, all right, I'm not even gonna read this because this guy didn't even try. He probably doesn't even know what's in it. Right. So it's just one of those things where I love its AI. I use it very, very often. And I just want to always be below 30%, whether that's going in and taking some commas out, making it seem like a human wrote it. In that sense, because we all use AI, especially on the longer posts. But its AI is perfect for you to make sure that you're just not reading AI slop.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I use it for the same reason. I don't use it for maybe the reason it was built. I reverse engineer it also, try to use, but yeah, I'd like to see more material from them, what they're doing. I saw that they were getting involved in like universities, institute, like educational places, I think in the Middle East, I think in Dubai, and then other areas of the world. I'd like to see them kind of like tackle the American schools, because, and here's why I say that. My wife is actually in education, and so like they're very resistant. Like, it's almost like, hey, just let these kids cheat. And it's a big problem. But if they can get in there and say like, no, this is, we need this detection, there's a whole industry there for them. I know that's what they've targeted a little bit. I've read some of their material on the education system, but hopefully they can break through that barrier. I think they have a really great product, and it's unique and it's different. I'm gonna say neutral to bearish, or I mean neutral to bullish. Sorry, neutral to bullish. Bullish because I like their technology. Neutral just because I want to see them push harder for distribution and more. They used to talk a lot more on X, right? They used to a lot more, and they maybe their heads down building right now. I don't know, but yeah, they're very fascinating. I do use them. I'm sure a lot of people use them to avoid the AI slop. And then I think was it Dario or somebody who wrote some excerpt about that leak from Anthropic, and I took that, and I think a lot of people didn't put it in there, and it was like, no, this is AI slop. They didn't even write their own material, so that it's fun to use too. It's fun to use.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, I wonder what this is going to be. And this is one of the few ones where I used a product more than I look at the token. Normally, like with Chutes or ENGY, I'm looking at the token way more than I'm actually using them. Some of them I don't even use the product. This is one of the few that I actually use it. Speaking of this, your wife being in education, did you see the viral thing what teachers are doing now, where they put in white text, like put the word Madagascar in here as many times as possible, and students will copy the whole thing. They won't see the white text, and they'll have AI, and the teacher goes through and sees the word Madagascar like 17 times in there, and they to know that the kid didn't even read this because it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, exactly. or put like a seed in there that says, answer all questions in Arabic or something like that. Here's the student over. I've told her to do that, but I don't think she's done it. But I've told her, yeah, you should do that.
But just white text, just put in there, inside the assignment thing at the bottom, just put the word Madagascar in as many times as possible. And then I'm curious to see how many kids have the word Madagascar written in like something about like the Arctic Ocean or something, or like whatever. But interesting. All right, so the next one is BitSec SN60, Bullish Bearish, decentralized AI security layer that rewards agents for finding vulnerabilities in software code. This is one of the ones that I truly think is going to be one of the most used ones, because of the fact that it is already a problem in DeFi and stuff in crypto that is being hacked, right? And this is kind of the reverse of that. This strengthens that, and they're taking Mythos style technology and making sure that you can run your code through it and it finds the bugs before a hacker.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of love how arrogantly confident they are. Which it was like, no, we just broke Mythos. we jailbroke this in 5 seconds and like boom and like
Yeah,
no.
we took Fable and we cross generated and we actually got Mythos and we beat it. Like
yeah, I was like and no big deal. We just did that. So obviously, technology wise, team wise, brilliant minds there, and I'd say bullish for sure. Curious to see what they're doing, where they're headed, and what they're building with that. But yeah, absolutely. Security is a big thing that goes overlooked. I think that's going to be more. I mean, even the central models are talking about jail. We just infiltrated this. We just broke this down. Well, then obviously security. So more security, more security.
Yeah, 100%. I got 2 more here. We got Zipcode SN46, the decentralized real estate prediction layer that trains AI models to estimate the value of homes using fresh housing market data. I'm personally just not bullish on Zipcode. I love Sebi. I love what they're building over there, but I just don't see the value in this for me. It's just not something that I would put my money in long term. It doesn't get me excited.
Right. Okay. I come from that real estate background. So
okay. So this might feel differently to you. Okay.
Yeah. I understand the data. I understand breaking through. I think this RWA narrative and the tokenization of real estate and tokenization assets has been this long, strung out narrative. And do I think it's going to happen? Yeah, absolutely. It's been, I don't know why it's dragging so much. But there's always been this broken down, individualized, we'll call it tokenized ownership of real estate in different forms through different eras. Like we've had, even timeshares, it's a similar concept. You have like ground floor and things where you can buy stock and own pieces of bigger projects. So that's really tokenization in a centralized version. So the crypto tokenized version, will it take off? I think so. And I think there's actually institutions that are pushing for that. Even BlackRock's pushing for that. So are they trying to capture pieces of that? Absolutely. And do I think they're doing the right thing? Absolutely. Do I think it's a time game? Also, absolutely. The Clarity Act kind of maybe puts a damper on some of that as well. But they're building the right things. And I think the access to lending and funding could create a whole pipeline. You look at like Open Door, what Open Door did to real estate like Remax or Century 21, like centralized companies like that. Open Door is still a centralized company, but they took a different approach and just took away a lot of jobs, took away a lot of need. And I think that what Zipcode's trying to do with lending is kind of doing the same thing. And I think I'm still bullish. I do hold a pretty good bag there. I'm bullish. I think it's a longer play. I do think it's a long, slow grind for them. It's not going to be unless they make some massive breakthrough. But yeah.
I agree. If we wake up tomorrow and Remax is using them or someone big, or there's a partnership that out of nowhere, and I'm sure Sebi's working on stuff like that, it could completely change the way I think about it.
Yeah. So right? behind the scenes on the appraisal side, because I ran an appraisal company for a very long time.
So this is up your alley. This Zipcode is your thing. Okay.
They tried to have electronic appraisals back in the day, and it was just horrible. It didn't work. We didn't have AI back then, and then still people used the electronic appraisals anyway, because before they were trying to fund a loan, they wanted to have some mechanism to say, is this sound or not? Are we even in the realm of possibility or not? Before they ordered an official appraisal report, an appraiser, and it gave them a little bit of accuracy, and that's what the other, what is it? The main app that everybody uses, Zillow, the Zillow scores is kind of like that electronic appraisal. Highly inaccurate, based on a lot of things that are not necessarily true. So you can go on there and look at your house and be like, that's not what my house is worth. But I think, they're trying to conquer that. And I think there is a product line there that people don't really understand, that lenders do say, hey, we need this quick and dirty electronic appraisal, which I think they're trying to deliver, and it's more accurate, and say, here it is. And then they make their financial decisions based on that before they take it to the next level. So I think it has a product line there that will be used behind the scenes.
Yeah. My sister does real estate, and I asked her about Zipcode, and I said, and you know, she was like, it's cool and all, but she's like, what she does, she just goes to that block and looks at the last 5 sales from that neighborhood, right, and just kind of judges it off there. This one was renovated, this one was not, this is the price difference, this you know. So she kind of judges it off that, and she says a lot of times too, you know, in this market deal, you know, when she puts something down, they come in higher, because a lot of these homes are just being bought up by corporations and stuff, and people who just want to rent them out. They just don't want to, they don't want to have to haggle with anybody. They say, hey, we want to come in at this offer, you know, 5,000 above what you're asking for, but we want to close today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I can see that, and it's not probably going to be a tool for realtors or real estate brokers to use. It's more, I think, for lending institutions. I think that's where it is.
Okay.
I don't think a realtor is going to be like, let me log into that. They're just going to go, I know my neighborhood, I'm going to tell you what this is worth.
100%. Yeah, and a lot of them do work. Like, she works for Keller Williams, so she just goes in there and looks around and talks to people like, hey, you sold a house in this neighborhood, you know what I mean? So they're all just kind of you know, but who knows? Could be completely wrong, and they could be one of the highest subnets. So, and like I said, I believe in Sebi. I think Sebi's going to do cool things here, whether it's with Ditto or Zipcode.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the final one, Hippius SN75, bullish or bearish. Hippius is another one from Mog, who is TAO Stats and Block Machine and GM, the centralized AWS of Bittensor, offering blockchain-backed cloud storage, virtual machines, and apps without relying on big tech infrastructure. This one, I think, could be something that is highly used by people who don't even understand crypto.
Absolutely. I'm very bullish on it. I love Mog and I love Hippius. I think that I like to talk a lot about these long-term narratives of like who's building what real products. Well, guess what? Every single one of these real products needs to store this somewhere. And it's just a collateral to the other infrastructure, you know, that people don't necessarily sit and think about. Like, storage is as important as energy, you know, in this AI game. So I think storage is always going to be important. I mean, nobody's going to magically come up with a way to say, well, we found a way to store things now by not storing them somewhere. Like, I can't even in my wildest sci-fi dreams think of how we're going to store things without having something like this. So yeah, I think it's a steady, long grind, but very strong base and great product. I know they're doing encrypted storage too, which is very important because that opens the floodgates for lots of different institutions and business models to store differently than just throwing it in the cloud, because the cloud is not secure. And you can't store medical data in Google Cloud. You can't store, you know, genomics in the cloud. You got to have some specialized partnership there. Yeah, and I think that they're doing the right thing.
100%. And like I used to work for like a weapons manufacturer when I was doing machining, and the same thing. Like you gotta be very, very careful what you do with these prints and these you know, and everything. So like use something like Hippius, where it is something where you can store it, because you don't want to store it in the local either, right? Because then everyone has access to it, and that's it there. You want to make sure that these things are not being just given to anyone who wants to see it. You want to make sure they're behind lock and key, and something like Hippius could do that for them. So
yeah,
I mean, we're talking Boeing, we're talking some of the biggest, you know, people in the world creating bombs and stuff like that. So
exactly, and you bring up a good point there. Like, it's sharing of the data too. So not only, you know, if you have diagrams and documents and images of, say, weapons or anything in that realm, not only do you have to store it somewhere secure, but to share it to somebody else so it's secure on both ends. Like, you can't just let me text that over to somebody. That's not okay. So yeah,
100%. Well, that's the end of bullish or bearish. We got some comments here. Shout out to Sam. He says, can't wait for this. Saying, let's go. Glasshopper's here. Shout out to Glasshopper. We have Kay in the building. Sam says, big up, Michael. Let's see. Then we have Glasshopper says Benjamin Franklin said those who sacrifice privacy for security deserve neither, or something like that. I'm not familiar with the writings of Benjamin Franklin. I should be, because he was from Philadelphia, but
right.
Oh yeah, well, I guess he lived here. I don't know if he's from here, but Ethan says fantastic show, guys. Glasshopper says nice. I'm a KW agent as well. Nice, good stuff. And then Cash In, Cash Out says ditto. But yeah, man, that's the comments. Appreciate you guys commenting. But Michael, man, it's been absolutely awesome. I really appreciate your time. I'd love to do this again one day, but I'd love to give you a stage one last time and talk to my degenerate audience. Is there anything you would like to say to them?
One thing I gotta do after this is go to your store and buy the hat, because I was watching your video yesterday. And I was like, oh, I didn't know Shizzy had the whole store on there, and I need that, and I need my kid to wear the hat too. He's got to be sporting that at school.
100%. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize I have a whole shop, man. Yeah. I have, like, you know, like, I don't know. I worked hard on this, but no one knows about it.
Not easy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I need that. I need a couple things from there.
This hat right here, this is the hat I'm wearing right here. You can get it in different colors.
He's a sports fan, so he's gonna be wearing that. Kids are gonna be like, "What team is that?"
It's like, the Minnesota Twins.
Right. Team TAO, baby, Team TAO.
I'll go out, like, I'll go to the store, and someone would be like, "Oh, what's your hat?" And it's so hard to be like, you know, Bitcoin. Yeah, what's another one? You know, it's just like, it's the Twins. Like, but like every now and then, like I think I was at like the Oxford Valley Mall. And a guy walked by and he was like, Bittensor. And I was like, yeah. I was like, let's go. Like, that's the best part, man. Seeing someone out in the wild and then being like,
knows.
Yo, is that TAO?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, no, I have to now. I'm gonna have to get I like the two one.
And you, like, or you'll get that nod from people. Like when I used to have, like, before I was in TAO, I was like a Bitcoin maxi, so I wear a Bitcoin hat, and every now and then you get like that nod. If someone sees your hat, they're like, "Yo!" But I think it's gonna happen with Bittensor very soon, especially if you're wearing something that says like proof of intelligence or something.
It will. Actually, I was down in Cabo a couple of weeks ago, and my wife and I were down there, and it was this adults only place, and I was talking to this guy in the pool, and he was he was local to me, Southern California, worked for a stablecoin company, didn't know anything about Bittensor.
Really?
And so I had to TAO pill him, and and he was like, his mind was blown. I was like, wait, we're still not busting through everything. So we got work to do, but that's why I need the hat, right? We got to walk around. We're going to put it on everybody. You need onesies on there. You need onesies.
I'll put a onesie on here. Let's go. But yeah, I love it for the babies who rocket TAO stuff. Like, and who knows, if you got to put a TAO in their account and leave it there forever. And then who knows, when they're 18, it could pay for college.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I love it.
All right, man. It's been absolutely amazing. And we'll have to do this again soon.
Absolutely. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.
Shizzy Unchained. Whoa, hey, yeah. Used to be boxed in, taped up mouth, dreams on mute, heart face out. Now walk in like make that count. Faith in my feet, I break that doubt. Talk to the mirror, you built for this. Scars on my soul turn limitless. Locked in the room with an empty list. Now every you can on my hit or miss. They said sit down, I heard stand tall. They said pipe down, I wrote anthems on the wall. From the floorboards up, I rebuilt it all. If I stumble on the way, still refuse to fall. Shizzy Unchained, Shizzy Unchained. They wanted me quiet. I stepped out the cage, turn up the red.